Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. If you can hear me, can someone just give me a thumbs up? Make sure I turned everything on good today. Good morning, the Woven Basket, one Georgia Peach. Thank you, Natural State of High. Good morning. Is the baby here yet? I have been offline for 4 days. So do we, I'm not paying child support. I'm not going to say we. Do you have a new little one in your life? Good morning, everybody. Aw. Well, I cannot wait to join one of your next shows so I can hear all about it. Congratulations. So if you're just joining, I am telling Natural State of High congratulations on the birth of her. Wait a second. She said it's a little boy. Let me go back. He came. Yes, congratulations. That's so awesome. I was thinking about you this week. Hello, let me jump back. Hello, everybody. My name's Tracy, and this is Zoe's Treasures. Normally, I do this show with my husband. He is still in the hospital. I'll give you an update on him in a second. But it has been a long week. I just got in from Orlando last night, like way late. It was not vacation. I was there from my 9 to 5, running a conference, and all week long. And what made me think about this was we were there. I have 3 of my coworkers are all pregnant at the same time. They're all, I don't know, around 4 to 6 months. So we did a big baby shower while we were there in the midst of working. And the whole time we were doing the baby shower, I knew Natural State of High, Zodi from Natural State of High, was due any day with her own little one. So I was thinking about you during this week, wondering if yours was coming. So that is kind of the topic of what today. I don't have anything. You're tired. I'm exhausted. Oh my gosh, you guys! I got in a little after midnight last night. That's why I don't have a whole lot prepared. I've got a few thoughts, but we'll get to that. Real quick update on my husband. He had his transplant a week ago. He's doing good so far. Obviously, sucks being in the hospital. He hates it. So just trying to keep his spirits up. But good morning, a monster mama. Good morning, Choco Dog. And Southern Charm. I saw you pop in here. So we're just keeping his spirits up, and so far so good. Every day is one day at a time. There's certain points that they need like lab work and blood work to be at each day, and so far he's hitting those milestones every day. So that's where we're at. So nothing wonderful, nothing bad. Oh, well, welcome in. Was it Kenziara or Kenzie Ray? There we go. Hope you like it. Stick around for a while. Unfortunately, today I do not have a ton of notes. It's going to be a little free for all. So if you guys want any, if you guys have any questions, my mind is fried. I'm a CPA, y'all. I tried to do a math, figure out a percentage yesterday, and it took me 8 tries. My mind is just so fried from this week. He had a stem cell transplant. So for those of you who don't know, he's fighting stage 4 cancer. Stem cell transplant is our hope at going into remission. So that's what kind of transplant he had. And you would think the procedure itself is very simple. It's almost like a blood transfusion, but there's a lot of buildup to it and then a lot of time on the back end. So that's where we're at. There he is right there. He's modding. So he's able to mod still. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming up this week. And you guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Again, good morning, Brittany. How are you? We have Primitive show tomorrow. So my schedule, for the next 2 weeks, my schedule is just crazy. Besides hospital visits and all of that good stuff, me having to go out of town. So I just got back from Orlando. I have a week at home, and then I'm in LA for a week. So I've had to mix up my shows for the month of October. Good morning, Lindro. Tomorrow, I'm going to do Primitive and Ironstone. So all dollar starts, free shipping. A ton of Primitive and Ironstone. I have some really good Ironstone this time. Ephemera on Sunday. And then on Monday, I am really excited. I know October's just a hard month for me. Do you guys, if you're familiar with Faye West Designs and, my love, if you are, you're modding, can you please put Faye West Designs in there for me? She does, besides being an awesome seller, she does chat shows where she features certain guests. And I got the honor of being asked to be on her show. And I say honor because after me, I think the week after is a reworker's passion. So she interviews some high caliber people. And so I feel very honored to be on her show. I am not calling myself high caliber, but just to be considered amongst the class of people that she interviews, I am very like, okay, wow, are you sure you want me? So I'm super excited about it. That is on Monday night. Her show starts at 7, but I'm going to do a show at 6:30. I'm going to sell some stuff, probably just some vintage variety, and then we will raid into her, and I'll get to she'll co-host me, and I'll get to talk to her for a bit. So that's kind of cool. Looking forward to that. And then I have shows almost every day this week. So I'm trying to make up for my time away. I have shows almost every day this week. Okay, you guys, what's up? What's up with you? I'll get to what I want to talk about. If book shipping, do you create profile using the book category? You do not need to use a profile. You can just use regular Whatnot, just rely on their shipping with no special settings. Make sure that your item is listed as a book and that you're in the book category. Even not being in the book category, if your item is listed as a book and that's all they're purchasing is books, Whatnot will automatically make that media mail for you. So I'll do a regular show, but I have books in my bin. And if people buy just books and nothing else except for books, Whatnot always makes it media mail. So that's one of the great features. You don't have to really do a whole lot with it. And Whatnot will take care of it on the back end for you. So, all right. So the topic, what is media mail shipping wise? How do you package it? You package it just like any other mail. You don't use priority. It's just brown, like your regular brown box or recycled box, just not priority. And then the label will look different, but Whatnot handles the label. So it just looks different. You cannot put any advertising in them though. You've got to stick to just what was sold. So just the books, magazines, whatever it was that classified it as media mail, you have to stick just to that. Any box. Yep. Any box except priority. So your recycled Amazon boxes, your regular brown boxes, all of those are just fine. So this week at the conference, we had a leadership session and I was listening to some leaders. We brought some leaders in. I work for a large accounting firm. We brought some leaders in to talk to our new managers. This was a conference for new managers. And as I was listening to these leaders, I started thinking, how much the advice that they're giving for like business advice, just for in general, how much of it applies to Whatnot? I mean, we are businesses, but there's a couple things in particular that I heard a leader say that I'm like, wow, this can really apply. Like we can take something from this and really apply it to Whatnot. So that's what I was going to talk about today. And it's about the big question. The big question we always get here in chat shows, or you'll see it in other like selling shows, is how do I get more viewers and or buyers, right? We hear this question all the time. We've probably asked it ourselves. Maybe we haven't put it out there, but maybe just in our own minds, we're like, how do I get more viewers? How do I get? And so after listening to these people, I'm thinking, what if we reconsider that approach? What if we rephrase that question instead of how do I get? What can I give? And let me kind of phrase this in the way of viewers and buyers so it makes sense. But so instead of saying, how do I get more, which is a very me-focused kind of approach, what can I do to help people choose my show? So kind of taking it from a me to a them approach. I was listening to a leader who had started up an office, and he was talking a lot about being thankful for his employees that are there, for the people that work there, being thankful for the clients that choose him. And that relates totally to us. And not just being thankful, but recognizing their choice. When you think about this, you think about the people that are in your show. Good morning. They have to choose your thumbnail, right? They're scrolling. There's all hundreds, if not thousands of shows on Whatnot. They have to choose your thumbnail. They have to choose to open your show. Then they have to choose to stay in your show. Then the person chooses to commit to buying something in your show or chooses to comment. There's a multiple choices that one person is making. All of you in my show right now, thank you so much. All of you have just made a series of choices to come in here, to stay in here, to say good morning. And that's something that I think we I mean, I've never looked at it like this, and that's something that it's like I need to be thankful for that and honor that those choices that the buyers are making. So instead of how do I get more people, how do I help you choose that? What can I give to you or do for you to help you choose to be in my show? And I think it really gives a different approach and a different spin to help us think more creatively and more outside the box on increasing our viewership. You like the thumbnails that aren't real busy and the print font is nice, not real wild. Yeah, and I think we're all, good morning, Sapphire. Thank you, Ken. I agree. I don't like busy thumbnails, but I think we're all drawn to different things. Interesting. My approach is how do I serve my best buyers more? There you go, Farm LLC. That's exactly it. I'm not worried about quantity as I am quality in the relationships. And I think you're just like right there with that. You're getting to the heart of the matter. It's the quality. It's instead of us saying, what can I get? What can I give? And for us, I'm not talking about giveaways and throwing things in boxes. It's how can I help you choose? What can I do for you to help you choose to make all those series of choices to come into my show, to stay into my show? Thank you, Scuba Studio. I appreciate that, y'all.
Thank you.
So, and that's just kind of like where I was thinking. So it's rephrasing that. It's changing the narrative and changing our perspective on what we do. And so, can I make a thumbnail that's appealing to help you? And when you think about this isn't revolutionary. This isn't like some, a Nobel Peace Prize winning advice. It's the same thing we've always talked about. It's what are we doing with our thumbnails? What are we doing with our environment? How are we as people? Are we approachable? Are we friendly? So it's all of that. But if we think about it through the lens of I'm giving this to you, I'm trying to help you make a choice to stay. I think it just may help us open up our minds to look at it differently. Oh, thank you. That is all my husband. He gave me control. I've got control of the buttons over here, so I feel very powerful today. Yes, or repeat viewer support. Exactly. How do we help? How can I help you come back? Is that giving you a coupon to help you come back? So and that's really, I don't have a big old long point and a long discussion today. It's just maybe just talking a little bit about how do I change that narrative from instead of instead of me focused to what can I do for you to help you choose to be here and choose to stay and choose to buy and choose to come back. And I think that all goes into our presentation, our thumbnails, our presentation, our environment. If you've been to any of my shows, you've heard me say we have this area here and this is the box right here. If what is not in that box is not appealing to you, you won't stay. If what you're hearing is not appealing to you, you won't stay. I think it is sometimes about the items, but I don't think it's always about the items, because how many of you will go into a show and hang out and never buy something? You saw Farm made a comment earlier. I go into her shows, maybe not every single one, but on a regular basis, just because I like her presentation. I like to listen to her talk, not in a creepy way, y'all, but I like her presentation. I learn from her chat shows. So it's not always about your items. Yes, you do need to have some good quality items to sell if you want people to buy them. But it's about your presentation, and the background, the music. I'm just trying to think. I don't have a lot of notes, so please excuse me if I'm squirreling today. Good morning, White Oak. How are you? So I do a lot of talking about breaking down barriers, and I think this just fits right in it. What am I doing to help you make that choice? And so this also ties into if you were watching the show a couple of weeks ago on buyer versus seller centric. This is a very buyer centric approach. So this may not be, if you lean towards that seller side, this may not be like what I'm talking about today. You're like, oh, that's a bunch of BS. And that's okay, because we all have different approaches. But I do like to challenge you guys. I like to throw things out there as much as I can, just to be like, oh, let me think about this. And sometimes that applies to you, and sometimes you're like, yeah, no, that really doesn't apply to me. But this is a very buyer-centric approach of how do I serve you and help you. At the end of the day, I mean, your customers, if you make no sales over and over and over and over, you come on here day after day or week after week and you're not making sales, how long is it going to take? Eventually you're going to give up. I know we say be consistent, stick with it, it's going to get better. But if it never gets better, you're going to give up, right? So it is really your buyers, it's your people in your room that are making this, and it's their choices. And we can take this not just from your buyers, but those of you out there, I know I'm not there yet, but I do have quite a few friends on here who are, and sellers who are. If you have employees or you're thinking about employees, it's the same approach. It's the same approach of, they have chosen to come to work every day. Yes, they get a paycheck, but they can just as easily choose not to show up. They can just as easily choose to give you a call and say, I quit. So what are you doing to help your employees make a choice to show up every day? And I don't say that, like if you have a shipper or somebody and you're paying them hourly, whatever it may be, that's great. Yes, you're giving them a paycheck, but are you making their atmosphere nice to work in? Can I call your boss? Sure, I'll give him a call. I'm still working on it with my own team. But what are you doing to make them want to be there? And we look at a lot of this, and this is, again, all of this is just kind of thoughts that came into my head from listening to a leader in our company at a conference that I was running this week. And it just makes a lot of sense. Nobody likes to work for a bad person. Nobody likes to go into a show where they're being screamed at. I mean, sometimes it's entertainment value, but you can help your audience choose to be engaging, even when they are challenging. And that's just it. So it's learning ways. One of this is learning ways to overcome trolls, because a troll can disrupt your whole show and throw it off, and then people are like, I'm out of here. I'm not here for this drama. Don't get me wrong. I think somewhat not is like reality TV, but a lot of people don't like drama. So how do you handle trolls? I've seen a couple of really great people do this. They're like, hey, everybody, throw a bunch of hearts in the chat. Let's get that chat moving. Okay, let's move right along. And they just kind of block them, ignore it, and move on. If someone has a bad attitude or their audience is rude, I'm out. Exactly. So, what you're saying, the words you use, and this is just kind of like summarizing, it just kind of ties into a lot of stuff I talk about all the time anyways. I had someone come in and demand me to run a giveaway in my second show. Oh, that's hard, especially in your second show, because you're still so new. You're still kind of getting your mind wrapped around everything and all the mechanics worked out, let alone how to deal with something like that. I'm glad. Well, Bonnie, good luck. Let me know when your first show is. If you've already scheduled it, go ahead and feel free to put it in the chat too. There's a lot of people here who love to just go and support first shows. So please, if you already have it bookmarked, scheduled, throw it in there. So we talk it's a lot about breaking down the barriers and helping them stay. And that comes to everything. And I feel like I'm repeating stuff that I say all the time. And I don't mean to do that. You know what? Again, let me run a giveaway. I only do giveaways in these shows or rate trains when they're necessary. All right, we're going to do a Halloween. We're getting close to Halloween. So you get a little postcard there. That one's running. Wander Through Life With Me is rating with a party of 12. Welcome in Wander Through Life With Me. Thank you so much. Please put in the chat who you are, what you do, what you sell, when your next show is, all the details. And y'all, if you like what they have to say, please go and follow them. And thank you, everybody who's coming in with Wander Through Life With Me. I'm Tracy. This is Zoe's Treasures. We are doing a chat show today. And I usually have a lot of notes, but today we're just kind of answering questions. I'm scrolling a little bit. It is just kind of a free-for-all. I'll be on here probably till about 9 o'clock, unless everything gets really quiet and I run out of stuff to say and then it gets awkward. So if that happens, it'll be shorter, but hopefully we won't get to that point. Let's see, I missed a comment. Let's see what it said. There's enough bad in the world. What not is my escape. Exactly. And let's talk about that for a second. Somebody comes in your room and asks for a giveaway. There's ways to handle that. Is it necessary to have mods? Let's see. Real quick, I'm going to answer it's necessary to have mods. I'm going to go back, Wander Through Life With Me. I didn't play you our raid. Let me give you our raid welcome really quick.
Welcome in, Raiders. Grab your hats and step into Zoe's Treasures, where the relics aren't cursed. They are for sale.
All right, there you go. My husband's red chatting me. Welcome the raid. He has to remind me about the buttons. Um, my husband sets it up. It's not OBS, but it's all through the computer. He sets up all of my graphics for me. He has not missed a beat. He has been giving me commands in red chat all morning here. Um, Mods. I don't think it's necessary to have a mod. I think it's helpful to have a mod. I think there comes a time if you get to a point of being so big or your chat is so active that a mod is extremely helpful. I wouldn't say it's a necessity. I see a rise in silent sales and they seem to be taking hold. Are they actually selling items in these style shows? I for Beauty, let's talk about that in 1 second. I'll finish up my thought on mods and we'll come right back to that. Mods are extremely helpful. I have my husband, so I've never really relied on a lot of other people. Occasionally, I'll have a few other people that I've come to know on Whatnot and consider them friends. They'll help me out. And it's usually because they're like, Tracy, let me help you. And I'm not one, it's hard for me to ask people for help. So I find it very difficult to be like, hey, can you mod for me? So it's usually they're like, look, I'm going to help you. So just accept my help and mod me is usually what happens. And then I mod them and I love them for it. It depends like where you are. I have 63 people in here right now. Having a mod, having my husband helps me out because my chat's going fast enough for me to be missing things. And so mods will help you with keeping up with your chat. They can definitely help when you have trolls or stuff going on. Pre-bids, if you're doing a selling show, to help you keep up on pre-bids. So things like that. So I think it depends on the speed and the flow of your show if it becomes something that you feel you need to have. But my husband didn't start modding for me personally till about a year in. I wasn't selling enough. There wasn't enough people in my chat. It's not even like the quantity of sales. It's just my show wasn't moving fast enough. My chat was very slow, so I didn't need it. But you'll see some of these shows that have 200 or 300 people and the chat's like really fast. I think, and here's something else you could watch. So on mods, this is a good experiment. Some of you are familiar with Green 13, one of my favorite, not only sellers, but chat shows every Sunday morning. Right now, he is doing an experiment where he is not using mods. So he said he's going to like 30 days with no mods. And he's setting up other systems to compensate for the fact of not having mods. So he usually does, like he'll do facing the camera sometimes, but he'll turn it around. He has signs. So he uses signage to communicate common messages the mods might have. Within view of his camera and other techniques that he's using. So that could be another one. You may want to check out his show. It is something he has somewhat been talking about recently. So that would be a good one too, just to get some different perspectives on using or not using mods. Mods can also be another part of your business that has to be managed. 9 times. That is such a great point there. Because you think you're giving these people power. They have power to kick people out of your show. And we've all heard the horror stories of them kicking people out that you don't want to be kicked out. You are not required to have mods, not at all. Completely up to you and optional. So be careful on who you're modding. But you have to. Bonnie's Hidden Gems, you got that Halloween postcard. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. We're going to start another giveaway. That's another Halloween postcard. Oh, and some other goodies. What's in here? Oh, and a butterfly postcard. That's number 2. You do have to train them too. How do you want them to react? They're doing stuff in your chat. Let's see. There are also big sellers that do not use mods. Shop 801 Lane is your, okay. Everybody, there's another example. Natural State of High just gave. Shop 801 Lane. She is really big too, yes. And she doesn't use mods. So go and watch these people and see how they handle their chat and their show. Going back to 9 Dimes comment, they're representing your business. Your mod has power to kick people out, posting stuff in your chat, laying down, like reminding people of whatever your rules may be. Maybe you have a no request or no promo, whatever your kind of parameters of your show or your expectations in your show. They're reminding people of that. So you have to manage that. And they're volunteers. They're unpaid employees, right? They're volunteers. So you have a responsibility for what they're doing. And then the fact that they're unpaid kind of creates this, I don't know, for me anyways, it's like, oh, now I owe you something, or there has to be something reciprocal here. And And that's not the case. You don't have to pay them. You don't have to give them gifts. It's nice to recognize mods, but it does create something that you have to completely manage. Perfect example. We purchased something from you and you sent us a coupon for a discount on a future item. How do you use that coupon? Oh, you should just be able to take that coupon code and type it into your wallet. So if you go down here to, it's not on mine because I'm the host, but if you should have a wallet icon, and you open that up and there should be a spot to type that code in right there. So a perfect example of mods and managing mods. So my husband was actually in Green 13 show. He wasn't using mods, and normally Green 13 does not take requests. That is kind of a normal MO. Most of his good customers know this just after being in the shows for so long. And somebody made a request. Well, my husband's not a mod, but he was trying to be helpful, and he types in, hey, no request. But Green 13 was actually taking requests that day. So those are the type of things that if you're changing your approach, even for one show, that you then have to notify your mods about this. So it's a lot of management that comes with mods, particularly if they're just Whatnot friends versus a husband or a spouse that you're constantly, a husband or a spouse, yeah. Husband or a wife or somebody that's like in your household that you're constantly talking about your business with. So, well, I'm so glad you guys like the coupon codes. So we've talked about coupon codes a lot. Natural State of High is one of the best mods. There goes my husband say that. Y'all, she is. You guys want to learn how to mod? Watch Zodi, Natural State of High. She is on almost everybody's show. I can guarantee you, if you're on Whatnot for a week and you don't see her name, you're just not in the right shows. She is in almost everybody's show, and she has built up the trust. There are some big name sellers on here who are like, she's one of my people. I trust her. She's going to mod. So perfect example. I don't know how to set up coupon codes. Is there a tutorial in the seller help section? There probably is. I don't know right off the top of my head, but I would assume there is. Whatnot's pretty good about some of those. I'll walk through it very quickly. I can't show you. I don't have a screen to show you, but it is very simple. In your seller hub, you go over to the left-hand side. There's a marketing tab. There's 3 little dots. If you click on marketing, there's 3 little, what do they call it? Hamburger menus underneath there. You pick the third one. That's coupons. There's a create coupon button. There's a few boxes you fill out. It'll kind of walk you right through just filling out those boxes. It's really, really simple. And she is a fast mod too. I can't mod. I suck. I will happily mod for you if I'm in your show, but I'm just telling you right now, I am terrible at it, because if I'm watching a show, I am on my phone and I cannot type on the phone to save my life. I fat finger everything. There's going to be spelling mistakes, and I am extremely, extremely slow. But I would be happy to mod for you. I'm just not very good. My husband, on the other hand, he's so much better than I am. You can always Google how to set up a coupon too. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Farm. Yes, Google most of your Google searches and put Whatnot at the end will take you right to the Whatnot instructions. So you're bad too. Yeah, if I'm on my computer, I can mod okay because I can type, but I can't type on my phone to save my life. So if any of y'all, if I'm close enough friends to be messaging with you, and there's spelling errors, please forgive me because it's bad. Fantastic Flips, you've got that giveaway. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. That was a Halloween and a butterfly postcard. We're going to start another one. This one is just some old ephemera, old postcard and a bingo card. Can husbands, oops, hold on, I missed the question. It's going too fast. Can husband type in the other mod you mentioned? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, honey. You got to put Natural State of High. I mean, I wouldn't just go and ask, I wouldn't go and just ask these people, hey, can you mod for me? But you got to know somebody, get to be friends with them. They come in your shows. How are you with your reverse auction experiment going? When is your next? Thank you, Farm, for asking. So my next reverse auction is on November 1st. My last one went really well for me as far as process-wise and how the mechanics of it worked. I made some sales too, so that was wonderful. But I look at it more for a process part of it. Those of you who are not familiar with the reverse auction, it is normally an auction on Whatnot. You set a starting bid, 1, 2, 5, whatever your dollar is. and you click start auction and people will bid and the price climbs up and up and up until the time runs out and somebody wins it. A reverse auction is where you start a price high and you work your way down. When you get to a price point that somebody is comfortable in bidding, they will, in a real reverse auction, they will click buy it and they buy it at that price and that's it. There's no like bidding up. Whatnot doesn't allow us, or they just don't have the functionality to do a reverse auction. It's not they don't allow, they don't have the functionality. I see your, Shirley girl, I see your question. I'm going to get right to that. Oh, and silent sales. I forgot Eye for Beauty. Sorry. I'm writing it down so I don't forget to come back. And no mod slowing shows. So in a reverse auction, you go down. So the way that I run them now, at the first time I've only done 2, so it's not like I'm an expert by any means. The first one I did, I used Whatnot and I set up a bunch of different price points in my auction listings, and I would run something for say $80 and $75 for 5 seconds. It was very clunky, very slow, because I was constantly having to like, okay, start the auction, wait, start the auction, wait. And I didn't like it. So this next time, this last time I did it, what I'll do is I'll hold up an item and say, okay, you guys, I have a mug here. My starting price is going to be $20. I'm going to slowly, verbally count backwards. When I say a number that you want to start bidding at, put an R in the chat. And so as soon as I saw that number, I would do, okay, 20, 18, 16. And so sometimes it would be by 2s, 5s, whatever I felt like dropping it down to. And if somebody wanted it, they would put an R, and then I would start the auction at that price, which then allowed people to bid it up if they wanted, just because of the functionality of Whatnot. I found that to be really, really well. It ran good. The problem with that, or the things that I'm correcting with that, was human nature. When I would get to my bottom price, so part of the reverse auction is I have a floor that I'm not going to go below. So say I don't want any less than 14 for this. At $14, I would say 14, okay, thank you guys, and put it away, and I wasn't going to run it again. Human nature, just in the way we talk, when I would get to my floor price, I would have like a inflection in my voice. It was, if you listen to just a couple of them, you would be able to hear that, you know, oh, this is her bottom price, I better put my bid in now. Where part of the reverse auction is that mystery where you don't know where that floor is going to be. So to combat that, I want to do it, set it up digitally. So instead of me counting down, there'll be numbers on the screen. And when you see that number, yeah, you have to have that poker face. And I know that I don't have a really great poker face, and you definitely can hear it in my voice. Now, afterwards, I was kind of debriefing a little bit with Jeremy of Green 13, and he said, you know, maybe that isn't a bad thing. Maybe the inflection is people will be like, oh, that's a bottom price, get it now, or you're not going to get it at all. So I think there's 2 sides to it. That was one of them. And I think having more items, I limited it to about 25, 26 items, something like that. May be better just to kind of have a more selection, a little bit longer of a show. But I liked it. I'm going to do it again November 1st. Since I do dollar starts on a regular basis on my shows, my reverse auctions are more for my higher priced items, the stuff that I put too much into to start at $1. And I'm just not comfortable starting at $1. It's just, it's above my risk tolerance level there. So it would never work for you. Your face doesn't have a filter. Usually mine doesn't neither. So Trish, congratulations. You got that postcard. Thanks for being here. It's hard. What was difficult for me, now Farm This, you're already doing something with your countdown, so it may become a lot more natural to you. For me, what I found very difficult as a seller, I am not a seller to try to push items. I'm a seller who will show you my items. If you like them and you want to buy them, wonderful. If you don't, that's okay too. And I'm just going to move on to the next item. I try not to be salesman-y. That's not who I am. So to stand here and to say 18, 16, that silence, that waiting, the looking at the screen, the first few ones of those, I'm just like, okay, 14, it's more difficult than I thought it would be. I was very uncomfortable. It got better with practice. I felt a little more comfortable as the show went on. but it's not an easy thing to do. It's like if you're, the only thing I can compare it to is when you're doing a regular auction, if you're not a big talker, and you say, hey, everybody, I got this. I'm going to start it at $10, and you hit run, and then you don't say anything. You're just smiling pretty, waiting for the clock to run. You know, there's an awkwardness to that to some people. The pregnant pausing, yes. I get very self-conscious in that. Do you still see things get bid up with some of the method, or does it sell? It was kind of a mix. It was half and half. There was some bidding because it would get to a price. Now, mind you, I wouldn't start it way out of the park price. I would still start, most of them start around eBay or less, kind of comparable prices. So by the time I got down a little bit, they were really great prices. So there was some bidding on some things. Again, that goes back to how many people want it. If you have 20 people in the room, and I said this last week, I'm going to do this example again this week because I think it's a good one. You know, we say, we say that the number of our followers don't matter, and it only takes one person in your show to buy something. All of that's true. But there is some truth in wanting to have higher viewer numbers. And this is the reason why. If I have this for sale, let's just say I have 50 people in my room, which is a good amount to have, right? That's a darn good show right there, 50 people. I have 50 people in my room. Out of the 50 people who are in my room, some may not be there to spend. They're just there to support. They're there to hang out. They're there to chat, socialize, whatever. And I put this up. Maybe on a good day, 25 people actually are in the mood to buy a mug, right? Maybe 25 are in mug shopping mode. And then I say, look at this. This is blue and white. It's beautiful. Maybe 15 of those actually like blue and white. And then I say, and it has a letter T. Isn't that cool? My name's Tracy and there's a T. That's awesome. Out of the 15, maybe there's only 5 people that even their name starts with a T, or they know somebody that starts with a T, or a T mug would be applicable to them. So I've gone from a buyer pool of 50 down to 5 at this point. Then of those 5, how many people are even spending that day? So when we say I'm showing all these great items and I've got people in my room and I don't understand why they're not buying, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. It's just who happens to be in your show that day. We're different. You've got to think about this. We put thumbnails up and we advertise what we're selling, right? Vintage decor. So your viewers start, it's like walking through a mall. And if I'm there to buy shoes, I'm not going into Claire's boutique for earrings. I'm there to buy shoes, right? Same thing with Whatnot. If I'm here for vintage decor, I'm probably not hanging out in sports cards because I want to buy vintage decor. So you've got some capturing of your audience. But how many things are in vintage decor? It's like walking into Macy's and you're like, I'm there for a shirt. There's thousands of options of shirts. It's the same thing with Whatnot. I may be looking for a specific shirt that you don't have that day. I know you sell shirts, so I'm going to go and look. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy. So it's really the luck of the draw on who's coming into your show. That's, to me, where it switches to the social part of Whatnot. That's the networking. That's the connections. That's when I can message somebody and say, hey, I know you really love Ironstone. We've built up, we've been around each other enough. I know you love Ironstone. I've got some great pieces. Come see my show. So that's where we take those relationships we're building and turn them into buyers, right? Turn that into a buying type situation. Don't ever spam. I'm not saying take your show and spam everybody in your list, but you take that social stuff that you've built up. If I have a show and I have some really cool things that glow, I'm going to message I Love Discounts ahead of time and be like, hey, I know you collect glowy stuff. Come check this out. You won't believe what I have this week or something. So that's how to me, that in my mindset is taking the selling approach, the purely selling approach, and the social, excuse me, the social aspect, and combining them together. Are there instructions to have 2 devices for your show? I won't be able to read comments on my phone. You can use 2 devices. Whatever device that you're streaming from, whether that be your phone or whatever else, start that first and then start your second device second. And then you can use your second device to run auctions, do giveaways. Speaking of, let me start another giveaway. So yeah, all it takes is starting that second device second. Let me go back to, we had two other questions real quick. Does having no mods slow down a show? I don't think it does, unless your show's running so fast and you're missing comments. If you're missing stuff in your chat, that can slow down your show because you can be alienating people at that point. If you're missing requests, missing things they're asking about, if they're asking about a specific, hey, what size is that? How tall is that? How big is that? And you're not replying because you can't keep up with your chat, then not having a mod could be detrimental to you. I want to go back to the silent sales question that I for Beauty had. Let's see. I feel like I'm always first-time buyers and not repeat buyers. Any advice? I just started coupons, so no data yet. Okay, let's talk about repeat buyers in 1 second, because I think that's super important, because you need both. You can't just have all new people. And if you don't have repeat, there's a reason why. So Ivory Beauty said he's seeing a whole kind of slew of people doing silent shows. I think, to me, when I hear that term, silent shows, I think of two things. One, where people are selling, but they're just not talking, where or maybe the camera's facing the item, not really facing them, and they're holding items and they're running auctions. And that's okay. How entertaining is that? You have to have some entertainment value here, right? Like we've got to do something. It doesn't have to be graphics, but you've got to do something, right? I see a lot of that. Personally, what's the use in that? How is that different from me just shopping the marketplace? I don't see a benefit in doing those. I don't understand why. And then the other way I think about the silent shows are the ones where people are like bin-only shows, or maybe they'll just stick something on the screen and no action is happening. Those are against terms of service. Terms of service, and I can't quote it specifically, so please go and read it and do your research to double check exact. But there has to be either a person or selling or running auctions. There has to be some activity happening. A chat show is okay because you're here, there's an activity of talking. So one seller said that it was early and everyone in the house was still sleeping, so a silent auction was a solution. I mean, I can understand that, but schedule your show at another time. I just don't see, has anybody here been to a silent auction that you felt was entertaining or successful, or did you see people buying it? I think you can have a silent show as long as you're still selling, as long as there's still activity happening. But again, please double check Southern Charm terms of service, because I'm kind of going by memory here and not by specific reading it in front of me. So the category unit is flooded. What are your thoughts on being in multiple? I think if you're selling stuff that qualifies for multiple categories, there's nothing wrong with it. If you sell jewelry in one, as long as you're selling what that category is made to sell. Don't go into sports cards and sell vintage decor. But if you have sports cards and you have vintage decor, by all means, sell in two categories. Or maybe you have clothing, jewelry and food, health and beauty, stuff like that. They fit more in their own category. Because I'll tell you what, I don't know about you guys. I don't want to say it gets me mad, but I get irked when I'm in a vintage decor category and I go in and they're selling something that's not even remotely close to vintage decor. I'm like, why are you here? Please go in your category. And I don't want to be mean, but I will click on vintage decor because I want to buy vintage decor, not sports cards. No one on screen. So I don't think anybody has to be on screen, but I do think there has to be an active, like, okay, I'm going to sell this mug, maybe not talking, mug, start the auction, then this. So I think there has to be activity in that. I think that's okay. Again, double check. But I'm not seeing anybody who is like, oh, these are wonderful. They're actually selling. Wow. It seems overwhelming in the chat that people are like, yeah, why are you doing this? A bin only. So the bin only silent shows, I think those are really against terms of service. So you can't just schedule a show. I think the bin only silent shows, the business approach, the attempt is a marketing attempt. It's, okay, so I have stuff in my bin, which is also in the marketplace, so they can buy it there. If I do a bin only silent show, now I'm taking up a thumbnail spot. I'm getting more eyes on me, and I don't have to do anything. So I'll just run a show for 12 hours and not do anything and have people go shop my bin. That is 100% against terms of service. I know that without going and reading. Yeah, I need a person. I need some interaction. That's the trouble I'm having. Is it better to have separate show for different items? It was confusing everyone to run it all. Yes. Pixie Thrift, you got that post or the ephemera. Congratulations. Yeah, I would do, April, I would do, if you have a lot of inventory for a specific category, do the show in that category. Now, if you're doing vintage decor and you have one or two modern pieces, that's not a problem. People usually don't mind. But if I'm doing vintage decor and I'm half of what I have is, modern jewelry, people would get upset. They're like, I didn't come in here for this. So you've got to look at the quantity. If it's just a couple of little items that you're going to throw into something and you know that audience likes that, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But if it's a full show, definitely do it in the category it should be in. They seem to be taking hold in a way. I don't think, my opinion on for beauty is that they're going to go away. I just don't see that people are liking them. I think it's a trend that people are going to try. Y'all, this is what happens. We know it. It's just like high school. Somebody does something. You're like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do it too. Say, this is the sponsored promos. Somebody got the idea to do it. Then the next person, next person, next person. I tried it out myself. And then eventually it dies off. It's going to come and go. So again, go back to what works for your business. This is a way to avoid these, I don't want to call them stupid things. Some of it's really great, but to be your own leader and not a follower, not like part of the flock. Don't just be, part of that flock of sheep or whatever. Create your business plan, your business strategy. You have a goal. Create your strategy to meet your goal. Where are you going? And then everything you're doing, does doing this, that, or the other thing. I see Bob doing this. That's good. Does that fit into my thing? Just because you see everybody else doing something doesn't mean you need to do it. And I'm going to do a perfect example, and this isn't pointing this out in any bad way. Right now, there are a lot of people buying ThriftWorks trading cards. They're pretty cool. I love them. I love seeing the pictures of them. I have a couple of them hanging up on my wall in my shipping area. I have nothing against them. But it's kind of like a big thing that's going through whatnot right now. And you're seeing a lot of very popular sellers doing this. It's just not for me. It's just not part of my business strategy. So I'm not going to do it. Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean they shouldn't be doing it. Nobody's breaking any rules. But it doesn't fit into my business strategy. So I'm not going to do that. So this is what I mean. Just because everybody else is doing something doesn't mean you have to. Now, if it fits into where you're trying to go, by all means do it if it fits and works for you. But you've got to decide that, and you've got to decide, is whatever action that is happening helping me meet where I want to be in my business? Are you allowed to do a live from binge shows? I've seen few people do them. You can, yeah, you could. That's what a binge show is. Like you're not listing auction items. You're on live and you're just selling stuff out of your bin. Totally okay. Yeah, and then the non-speaking. I did a silent auction last night. Medical conditions at me. Oh, and I didn't want to cancel. I featured bin. Wasn't great, but I did sell. Wouldn't do it. I mean, if you're not talking, this is my question. If you're selling stuff but you're not talking, would that time, is that the best and most efficient use of your time? So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to just tie it back to a basic business concept. Is selling silently from your bin the best and most efficient use of your time versus scheduling a regular auction at a time that you're feeling better? I'm so sorry, you guys. It's been a long week. Would it be a better use of your time to schedule a show when you're feeling good, your energy, whatever you need to be, your mood is good, and doing a regular auction? Would that produce better results than the silent auction? So what's the best and most efficient use of your time? At the end of the day, that is like the most basic business decision right there. Everything you do, everything should be rooted into what is the best and most efficient use of my time. That's how we decide when do we need to hire employees, because the best and most efficient use of my time is not shipping at the moment. If I'm trying to reach a goal of growing my business, it's out here marketing, doing more shows, and paying somebody to ship, right? Or is writing a thank you note, not against it, I love the personal touch, is writing a thank you note efficient when you have 5 orders a show? Probably it doesn't, there's no bother to it, right? You're not seeing any time loss when you have 5 orders. What happens when you grow and now you have 100 orders per show? Is writing a personal thank you note for 100 orders a show the best and most efficient use of your time? Or could you do something else to thank people instead that is more efficient? And nobody's going to tell you what the answer is. That has to come from you and really looking at what your processes are. How many items would you recommend having in your first show? No more than what you could ship in 2 days. I think that's the straight up most easiest answer. No more than what you can ship in 2 days. So when I do an ephemera show, I can ship a lot of ephemera in an hour. If I sell the same amount of vintage decor, it takes me 8 hours. So depends on what you're selling and can you get it out on time, because it's going to hurt you more. It may be great to have your first show and have all these sales, because Whatnot promotes your first show. You're going to get more people. You're going to get more sales. And so it's great, but then you're going to cut your own throat if you can't get it out on time or get it out packaged well. That's the other thing. We have 2 days. Don't skip on packaging just to get it out the door. So we need to make sure it's packaged well and on time. Okay, let's see. Oh, S-Fish, thank you so much. You rated me, and I probably rated me a long time ago, and I didn't acknowledge you. I am so sorry. Let me play
Welcome
you a
in,
raid button.
Raiders. Forget snakes and booby traps. Instead, free shipping and dollar starts.
S-Fish, thank you. Y'all, if you are not following S-Fish, go check him out. He and his husband are both sellers on here. Really great sellers. We've been on about the same amount of time. He's killing it. Awesome vintage decor. And I am so sorry I didn't recognize you. I'm over here just chatting away, not doing my job. All right, let me see what other questions I missed. And S-Fish, please tell everybody who doesn't know who you are, if you're still here, if I didn't lose you already, my apologies, who you are, what you do, what you sell, and all that good stuff so they can follow you. How do you point out flaws or show features, like to get a selling point across? Does the host type in the chat in a silent? Oh, that's a good question. If anybody could answer secondhand serenade, I would not know. I have never done them. I guess you would have to type it. That's a lot of work. Or maybe just pointing. I don't know. What was the trading card you meant? ThriftWorks is actually doing some really cool trading cards. If those fit into your business model, definitely check them out. They're trading cards. You can probably go to almost anybody's shows and see them. I think Natural State of High has them. JJ Shopper, A Reworker's Passion. I can name a million people that have them. But it's ThriftWorks. If somebody could type him in there so that they can see who to go to get them. I'm going to try to catch up on questions here, y'all. I'm sorry, I was way behind. Hear me not keeping up. It's exactly the best use of time. Yep, instead of putting a show off, it's a way to continue selling in a spot. Okay, I mean, if you feel, and everybody has to decide what is the best use of their time. Oh, Vintage Wiz, it's graphics my husband set up. We'll do some more here. There we go.
Thank you.
And Eye for Beauty, I think I'm caught up. Thank you, Natural State of High, for putting it in there. Eye for Beauty says people are collecting other collecting cards, not just ThriftWorks. There are a couple other ones out there. I'm only familiar with 2. I know ThriftWorks has some really cool ones, and he customizes them. He makes them like you send him a picture, and he makes it so it's really representative of you. It's your individual trading card, and they're numbered. They're pretty cool. I mean, I got to admit, I think they're really neat. It's just not something I'm buying at this time. Not for any bad reason. It just doesn't fit with my business model. But they're really cool, and I like other people's. Like I said, I have some of the other people's cards. Green 13 also has some cards that they're more, he has an oopsie card. You get them, you can't buy them. Occasionally he sells them, very, very rarely. But you get them organically through different things in his show, either by ordering something, they come in a box, or he messes up and he'll give you what he calls an oopsie card, things like that. And those are going to be collectible and also redeemable in the future. Brilliant marketing idea there. So, all right, I think I'm caught up. If I missed your questions, please let me know. Repeat buyers. Let's talk about repeat buyers, because I know I said I'd come back to that. So somebody said in the chat that they have a lot of first-time buyers, but no repeat buyers. And both are vital. Both are vital to your business. The majority of your business should come from a core group that are your repeat buyers. If you have only new people, and we all love new people, I watch both of my numbers regularly. If you only have new people and they are not coming back to you, that's telling me one of two things are happening right off the bat. You're selling a product that there is only a one-time need for, so they don't need to replenish that product, or you don't have the other thing, or you don't have good enough products or things that they want. I guess so there's really three. So you're either selling a product that they don't need to replenish, which you're kind of cutting your throat unless you can really do marketing well and keep up the new buyers. They don't like the other things you're selling. It was a fluke that they just bought this one-off thing. And then the third thing I would look at is what's happening after they buy it. Why aren't they coming back? Did you not ship on time? Did you not package well enough? Was the item maybe what you described, but was really nasty or dirty, or maybe they can't say, oh, it wasn't what was described. It came to me, they described it, but they didn't tell me that it smelled or something wrong with it. So look at the back end. That would be the first thing I would do. If my repeat buyers start to decline, I'm looking at what's going on the back end. Am I taking too long to ship? And have they messaged me and I'm not providing customer service? There's a reason why they're not coming back to you. If you're trying to do coupons, I think coupons are a great way to encourage a repeat buyer. It doesn't guarantee a repeat buyer. It's a way to encourage them. Again, let's go back to the very beginning. How can I help you make the choice to come back? Part of how I'm trying to help you is by offering you a discount to come back, right? So look at what's going on the back end. Why? There's a reason why these people aren't coming back to you. I got a package the other day that smelled so bad of smoke, I'll never buy again. There you go. What are you packaging it in? It could be as simple as that. People could be turned off by what you're putting, how you're packaging this. I am totally okay with reused boxes, recycled, but there comes an end of a life for a box. There comes a point when you're like, I cannot ship this box out again. Some people are put off by using normal household boxes. I'm not so bothered by it as long as it serves a purpose, but you are a business. So think about that. Think about when you're sending it out, you are representing your business. How do you want that business to look when they receive that box? So what you're putting in the box as far as packing material. Again, packing material, there comes an end of life for your tissue paper or your paper stuff, like the padding that you put around items. That can only be used so many times before it's like, it looks like you're opening up a box of garbage, right? I'm a new seller, sold an item and shipped on time. Buyer gave me 3.5 stars because she took too long to receive. So that sucks because we do not control USPS. If you shipped on time, so this is the feature of Whatnot that they implemented a while back. They allowed us to start to do this, and I think it's a great feature. You can reply to that 3.5. And the more you sell, that 3.5 will be averaged out on your better ratings, so don't stress about it. But you can reply. Please, y'all, if you reply to a 3.5 or a bad rating, do it in a professional manner. Nobody wants to read. Okay, let's just take this for example. Small Town Finds has a choice here. The choice could be to reply to this person, well, I sent it to you on time and I can't help USPS. They can reply like that, or they can reply, I am so sorry that USPS took too long to get this to you. Please message me and let's talk about a future order, or I don't know the words right off the top of my head, but you can be very kind about it. I am so sorry USPS took so long to message. We pride ourselves on shipping within the 2-day policy. I do sincerely hope you come back and see me again. So Small Town Finds, definitely I would reply to those. It's a feature that Whatnot allows us. It's a great marketing tool on the backside to try to mitigate some of these issues. Like when somebody gives you a bad review, that it really isn't your fault. And if it is your fault, what a great time to own that mistake and apologize. You are going to make it right and get far more customer approval, more goodwill coming back to you. When you make a mistake, if you're just like, I am so sorry. I thought it was this. I am so sorry that this item is not what you expected. Please check your DMs for a coupon code for your next purchase or something like that. Own it. It's the only way around a mistake that you make is to own it, apologize. And I mean, I've done that and I've retained customers even when I've sent stuff that is broken. And it doesn't always work. Some people just are, they're grumpy and they'll never come back. But you know what? That's their choice, right? Do you think I can message buyers and ask for feedback? The analytical part of me was like, yes, I want to do that. I want to know. That's a tricky one. I may message one or two, particularly if it's a high value item. I may pick a couple high value items. Hi, I noticed you got your item. I just want to make sure everything was okay. I would just do it once and leave it in a very nice manner. And see, but I would definitely not do it across the board. It would become extremely annoying to people. But if you're getting zero feedback and you pose it as, I'm really trying to grow my business. I see that you purchased from me. I haven't been getting feedback. I was wondering if you would take a moment to let me know what your thoughts were on just a couple people and see kind of what happens. I just want to do it across the board. Let's see. Do I reply a message for several times to see if I did reply kind of. I wouldn't message several times. Message somebody once and let it be. I just want to bug people a bunch. That's me. Good morning. If you guys are coming in and I am not seeing you, CG Boomerang Echo, good morning. I'm going to read that first and see if somebody bring snarky. Yeah, exactly. And that's it. Don't be snarky in your replies. That's what I'm saying. Don't be rude in your whatnot replies because that just tells me your true colors. Because you can get on the screen, y'all, this is the internet. Like, it's the internet. I can get up here. I could be the sweetest person, but ask my husband. He knows I could be grumpy. I could be a grumpy you-know-what sometimes. Your true colors come out in how you reply. And there are a few sellers that I have read, some sellers that maybe have 5 stars, but you go back and look at some of their reviews. The more you sell and the more 5-star reviews you get, it's not going to be reflected in the number at the top. Because you can have, a handful of bad reviews. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're a bad seller, but you can have a handful of bad reviews and still have 5 stars because it's quantity is what that number is averaged on. But if you go back and you see some of the bad reviews and they are really mean, well, you know what that tells me? They're not going to provide customer service. If there's an issue with my order, even though they have all these 5 stars, if I'm that one off that something breaks or something is wrong and I reach out to you and I see all those snarky remarks, that tells me that you're going to be snarky with me. You're not going to treat me and provide me the customer service that I expect to have. Good morning, River Run Trading Post. How are you? I got a package with items I don't remember buying. Nope. And I have searched my purchase list and cannot find who it was sent from. This is, y'all, I need to go too in a minute. I'm gonna run one more giveaway and then I have to go, but I'm gonna answer that question. I'm sorry, I have to take my kid to a cheer event today. We're gonna do this giveaway and then I'm gonna head out. All right, this is gonna be a bird postcard. This is a really cool bird. And I like these because they're thick. That right there is, that's number 5. That tells me if there's nothing in there, that is the importance of putting some type of marketing material in your package. 1, on your return label, make sure it's your username. It could be your regular name and your username, but make sure your username shows on the return label at the very least. And then put something in the box so people know who you are. It could be a packing slip. It could be a sticker. It could be a piece of paper with your name on it. People need to know who you are to avoid things like what Diane says here. There is nothing worse than getting a package and not knowing. And I'm going to take my time. If you're going to take your time to set up a show, to run a show, to package a show, to mail it out, and you want that review, make it easy for them to give you the review. What can I do for you to help you in your choice to leave me a review? What I can do is make sure you know who I am, right? Again, we are helping people make a choice to do something that benefits us. It's you buying benefits me. So I'm going to do what I can to help you make the choice to buy. It's a two-way street. It's not a me, give, come to my show, buy for me, do for me. It's a what can I do for you to help you choose to do for me. You don't need more reviews. The more you sell, you'll get reviews. I do think you should encourage, as a new seller, try to encourage reviews, because it helps build the trust, especially at the beginning. And then it just kind of becomes a natural process as you grow. For reminding the buyer of what they purchased. What is the seller response? I don't think it's my job to remind you of what you purchased, but it's my job to help you remember so that you can leave a review. And not even, I'm giving to you. It's just a good marketing. You get a box of nothing on there, you're like, this is wonderful packaging. It's beautiful. I love my product. Shit, who did I buy it from? I'm not going to take the time to go and search for it. But if you make it easy for me to leave a review, I'm going to leave you a review. I'll tell y'all, here's my theory. It's breaking down barriers. It's us making it easier for the buyer. I'm going to give to you so that you can give to me type thing. Here's my biggest gripe. I know, very controversial. Here's Tracy's controversial thought of the day. I don't like Aldi. There's many reasons I don't like Aldi, but my number one reason is I don't like paying $25 for a cart. If I'm going to your store, give me a cart to buy your items. That is a huge barrier. I know you get your 25 cents back. I know. Trust me, I have this debate at least once a week with somebody. So I get it. And I'm not knocking. Y'all love Aldi, go shop at Aldi. I think making you pay 25 cents for a cart is a barrier to me buying, for me personally. Exactly. How many clicks does it take? You want to make it easy. So you too. Good. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. I work with a gentleman in my 9-to-5 who will purposely came to a conference with an Aldi shirt on just to taunt me, because we debate this all the time. You never have a quarter on me. So, all right, you guys. Giveaway 1 minute, 28 seconds here. So get in that giveaway. It is for a bird postcard. And I do have to go. I've got to drive my daughter. She's supposed to be there in 10 minutes, and it's probably 20 minutes away. So I've got to drive her over to a cheer event. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Next week, I will be on time. I will be at 7 a.m. I just didn't get in until after midnight last night, and I was just out. I was exhausted. I had to move the show back a bit just to give me some time to be able to think properly. You try to give your cart to somebody walking up. Thank you so much, Travel My Closet. Please come back. I'm glad you love this show. Oh, you keep an Aldi quarter. Well, I guess that's smart. Mrs. White Oak, thank you so much. I have shows almost every day this week because I am in town this week. And then the following week, I am out of town, so I will not have shows. So please take a look at my shows. If anything piques your interest, bookmark them and come see me. I will be doing a primitive show tomorrow, ephemera on Saturday or on Sunday. I have I'm going to do a vintage variety, and then I get to be a guest, co-host guest on Faye West Design Show on Monday, and I have some other stuff throughout the week. Real quick, y'all. Saturday, Southern Charm, if you are still here, please tell me when Battle of Bazaar is. Southern Charm 7, Southern_Charm_7 is Sunday, is in Battle of the Bazaar. I Love Discounts, possibly maybe on it too. I don't know. This Sunday, really cool raid trains run by CG Boomerang Echo. Sapphire, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. But Southern Charm is one of my besties on here, so I will always promote her. Please go check her out. If I Love Discounts, I don't know if you're on it too, but you guys put your time in there that you're on there. Battle of the Bazaar is going to be a raid train of Bazaar. Creepy, weird. Southern Charm had to send me a warning because she has a very creepy doll, and I do not like creepy dolls. But it sounds really cool. Preview show is tonight. CG Boomerang Echo, I think it's at like 10:30 tonight. It's later this evening. So if you like that Halloween creepy spooky, good show to go and get some stuff. There you guys go. There's some things in there. I Love Discounts. Is putting her time in there. 10:30 tonight is a preview show if you just want to get a quick peek. Most of these items are across the board for all the sellers up for pre-bids. A lot of them are already listed, and you can pre-bid on them. So y'all check this out because it's going to be a good one. So, okay, I got to go. Thank you guys for being here. I hope to see you this week and have a wonderful weekend. Let's go see who's on. I don't even know who's on. And we are going to raid into trying to get my... All right, bye everybody. Let's go find somebody to raid.
Honey, what are you doing?
Southwick,